Hi there, welcome to Late Night Comfort. It is me, your host, Wes Franks, the founder and creative director of Carrion Comfort Studios. My pronouns are he, they, and I am joined with me by my lovely, illustrious co-host.
Tis I, the Derrick. I am pronouned he, him.
Perfect. Well, we have introduced ourselves, we have pronouned ourselves. So it's time to get to some nitty gritty before we introduce our guest, because we have a very special guest for you all. If you have read the headlines and the guests, the Twitter announcements, everything like that. But before we get into our guest, let us talk about all of our sponsors. We were talking about Callow, Dice Envy, and 1985. Callow Energy is a game-focused plant-based supplements company that we have partnered with and that I use in my everyday life. I use Q Focus to help me stay focused when I'm playing video games or making overlays. And I use Q Energy powdered energy drinks to give me a boost without crash like most energy drinks, like Red Bull or Monster. No matter what, Callow has you covered, whether it is those two products, or if it's Q Flex or Q Sleep to help you sleep. Be sure to use code COMFORT at checkout to earn 10% off of your Callow purchases now. Follow this link in the chat and in our About section to let them know we sent you. And let's talk about 1985 Games. We are sponsored by 1985 Games, who are the creators of Dungeon Craft, an affordable way to upgrade campaigns from hand-drawn maps to stunning visual worlds. Unlike many terrain solutions on the market, Dungeon Craft is priced to allow any gamer to upgrade their campaign with over 1,000 cutout pieces without having to spend the equivalent of a dragon's hoard. Use our link in the chat that was just displayed so lovingly by Zoe, or in the About section to check them out for new battle mats, miniatures, and their new deck of stories. Make sure to use code COMFORT at checkout for, you guessed it, 10% off your order. Last but certainly not least, we have Dice Envy. If you were ever looking to grab some dice to fill your coffers, then consider using our referral link in chat and our About section to grab a very special set from Dice Envy just for you or for others to use at home. Dice Envy provides high-quality handcrafted dice at a very reasonable price. I've got some right here. But they don't just offer dice, they also provide dice trays, dice bags, and more. Make sure to use code COMFORT at checkout as well to get 10% off of your order. Derrick, how was your day today?
It was cool, man. It was a real chill day.
What
Started a new episode of Atlanta.
Ooh, catching up the new episode of Atlanta. I got caught up with that earlier this week. Did you know that tonight is WrestleMania? This is the first night of WrestleMania.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how the W do it.
Yeah, how the WWE do it. Not only that, there was also Ring of Honor's Super Card of Honor that happened last night. Samoa Joe has re-debuted and is back at Ring of Honor in AEW, which is huge news. Bunch of great stuff like that. I'm glad to see Samoa Joe hopefully not injure himself in a company where he can be himself. I'm actually very excited about that. There's a bunch of other stuff that happened. We had Effie's Big Gay Brunch happen in Dallas. WrestleMania weekend's a huge weekend for wrestling just in general, because a lot of different promotions will go to where WrestleMania is happening and put on their events for fans, just because there's a lot of fans for wrestling in Dallas for WrestleMania, so it makes sense you want to go ahead and kind of capitalize on the audience there. So it's great. And we'll talk more about wrestling tomorrow on Carrion Comfort News at 3 p.m. Eastern. But let us introduce our guest. You know her. You love her. You have seen her on the Carrion Comfort saga, one might call it, playing Iris Blackwood. You have heard her voice on the Lovelycraftians, playing Daddy Glenn Bishop. You know her. You love her. Sade. Hello. Say hello, everybody.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Sade Smith-Edwards. Pleasure to be here.
Sade, who are you and how did you get here?
Hi, I'm Sade Smith-Edwards. I got here by clicking on the meeting link. But in terms of like how I got into TTRPG, is that what you're referring to exactly?
Just, who are you? How did you get here? Tell us about yourself here real quick. I need the full history of your life shortened into about 30 to 90 seconds.
No pressure. I've always been a creative. I went to school for creativity, and usually illustration, design. Um, and then I graduated, didn't get a job in it. And then what ended up happening after that was I decided to go back to school again for a boot camp for UI UX. Now I work as a UX UI designer. Found TTRPG from a friend, played Call of Cthulhu as like a home game for several years. It was like the same campaign that just kept on going. And then one of the people in that group said, like, did you want to do a podcast with me? And we made a podcast, The Lovelycraftians, where I played Ambrosia Dubois for the first 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And then I played Glenn Bishop for 3 and 4. And it's been a wild ride. And then I became more involved in the TTRPG community as of last year because it just like felt like a natural progression, as well as like I wanted to be more involved as well. So then I became Iris Blackwood, who I absolutely adore playing. And then I wanted to play more games and try new games as well. So that's how I got here, like talking with these two lovely people here. But that's the life story condensed down into a few seconds. If you want any more specifics, by all means, you can ask on my Twitter account. But other than that, here I am.
I will say you did a pretty good job. You did a pretty good job for an overview. Would you say that you did a pretty good job, Derek?
Clean and succinct.
Clean and succinct, he says. Clean and succinct, he says. Well, I've got another question for you. Do you like my shirt, Sade? Do you like my shirt?
I love it very. Oh.
Okay, perfect. Do you like my shirt?
I didn't see the whole thing.
The whole thing. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
perfect. Perfect. Good. All right, Derek, you want to kick us off with this interview, my man?
Okay, yeah. So, all right. Where are you from? Like, where are you from?
I'm from New York City. Born and raised there. I left when I was 22 years old. Moved to Chicago, stayed there for 7 years, and then I moved to DC area to be closer to family during the pandemic. So originally from New York. You will not see that side of me until I go back to New York, apparently, because apparently we're mean. According to several people that like New Yorkers are mean. I'm like, no, we just don't like our time wasted.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
How much of a, I guess, well, I wouldn't know, but how much of a shock or a difference or a change is it to go from moving from one big city like New York City, the biggest city, granted, in the maybe, it definitely United States, but like maybe most of the world, comparatively to like maybe Beijing or something, and it's smaller. But how do you go from there to like moving to Chicago, which is in the Midwest, the heart of the Midwest? And then to DC, like how is that? Like, is it like a shocking transition, or is it like very familiar and comfortable because you're moving from large city to large city to large city?
It was from New York to Chicago. It was like New York decaf, I guess. I'm trying not to like offend any Chicagoans out there, but it was like it was easier to like it was a lot smaller and easier to travel. But I was so used to in New York City traveling between borough and borough, I guess the most. So between boroughs, it could be anywhere from an hour to 2 hour travel by public transit. By car was significantly less, but why would you have a car? Like it was kind of, unless like you work outside of the city, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay.
But there's a lot to do. So it was just like, you didn't have to travel far to do anything. You can like be at 12 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, find something to do, and like wander back home eventually. Usually friends would follow you, like to make sure you got home safe is usually how it went. So everyone was kind of like taking care of each other is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Chicago was not that. Like it was smaller. Things shut down though by some places were stayed open until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. It took a while to find those places. But most of the time it would close at like 12, maybe 11. And I was like, man, this sucks. Like it was nowhere to go. But like when you found out that it was a lot easier to network public, like in person versus like digitally, then you kind of understood how to do it. So like talking to people, socializing with people, and then just like engaging was easier than New York. New York was very much like, we'll call you, kind of thing, which is a good thing and a bad thing depending. And DC, I don't know, man. I moved in the pandemic. I just started exploring.
Yeah.
I would love to say the drivers kind of suck. In the DMV area, it's really bad to a point, and parking is really bad. So it's best to kind of do public transit, even if it also isn't great. So you want to socialize, you just can't, even if you wanted to. But I'm learning. Could be better.
I get that. Which city has the best hip hop scene? Would you say New York City, Chicago, or the DC
New York.
area? New York.
New York.
We would have also taken the South as an answer.
No, like that is.
I mean, you haven't lived in the South, but yeah.
But yes, I've heard. Yes, Atlanta rap specifically is my favorite. But I think I just offended. What is it? Chance the Rapper? Isn't he from Chicago?
Chance the Rapper, Kanye West. There's a handful of them from Chicago. Yeah.
But then you have Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj from New York. Oh, and obviously Cardi B as well.
Wu-Tang Clan, Biggie,
Wu-Tang Clan,
Mobb Deep. Yeah. There's so many. Yeah, definitely.
NYC. If I had to pick immediately, hands down, sorry. I was like.
Okay, we're gonna make sure we get that clipped, and we're gonna spam that on the internet.
You just sabotaged yourself.
Yeah. It's okay.
already.
The Chicago drill scene is going to be on you.
That's how you know that it is a heavy, hard hitting interview, because we get the conflicting, just controversial questions right out of the gate.
Which kind of rap do you like?
Yeah, which kind of rap do you like? Everybody's gonna turn against you. Okay. So, from your experiences, being born and raised in New York City, and moving to Chicago, what in that time period, in that kind of that timeline and everything like that, what pushed you to start creating? What pushed you to start just drawing, making art, anything in general, looking at technical UI design? What interests you in and we can talk about UI design later, but what was really the first big push for you to start drawing and kind of doing that creatively and using it as an outlet?
That's a really good question. I've been drawing since grade school, so I've always been drawing. It's just when I became more, I wanted to create worlds with it, I would say high school. My best friend, who's also on the Lovelycraftians podcast, Ashley, and her twin sister got me into it. We made I think we wrote an anime together, because we were we were obsessed with Inuyasha and Yu Yu Hakusho and stuff like that. So we kind of wanted to do our own thing. So we had a binder that we made stories in, and art and stuff like that together. And that was the first push to do art on a rapid basis. It was the first time that I actually made characters over and over again and stuff like that. And I still have the binder somewhere in my house, because Ashley gave it to me at some point. It was called Unique Harmony, Unique Nonsense, I think it was what it was called. I still remember it. And God, it was trash. Reading it again in our grammar and all this other stuff. I was like, oh my God, I love the concept, but oh my God, this needs to be rewritten if ever. But we had a great time, and that made me want to do art more often, to a point where I actually wanted to pursue a career in either concept art, illustration, something in the art scene. Animation, I felt was too far out of my realm, because it felt like you had to think a different way to do animation. And on top of that, art school is extremely expensive. To be more specific, if you want to get anything out of it, you kind of need to go to art school for animation. So I just continued on from there. When I went to college, there was no art program, but there was a graphic design with business specific program. And then I transferred, and I was able to do art specifically. So I had technically a double major is the best way to put it. And I just continued doing art ever since. In terms of content creating, though, and being a content creator, that's been relatively recent, I think, where I was confident in it in the last 2-3 years, I would say.
Nice. And that kind of leans into the next question. When was the realization that you should start putting it on social media, and then from that point also doing commission work as well?
I would say that when I realized to put it, like when I wanted to put it on, because like I don't know, like with when I've seen other content creators or people that want to be content creators, they feel a certain way about posting things. Like they're nervous to. I just always had it out there. It's just, but it was in a group that I like a close group, friends, stuff like that. So it's like during the pandemic I was transitioning jobs and I just wanted to focus on being more creative again because I had put it on the back burner for a little bit. And I just wanted to make kind of stupid little clips is the best way to put it, like just shorts, to get better again. And if people liked it, they liked it. If they didn't, they didn't. And it was also just as early 2020, I think. So just before the pandemic hit. And I got maybe 1,000 or 2,000 on TikTok, posted on Instagram. I did like a lot of art scene things in Chicago, but it was like really hard in a different way, I guess. It was very if I had stayed there longer, I guess it might have gone somewhere if I kept on pushing, but it was a lot harder than I expected to find the right place to be in the room where it happened, the kind of situation in Chicago. Where I was like, I'm gonna post it on TikTok and Instagram and see what happens. And then for a very long time, it did not work. But I was happy to just draw again. And then I started making specific stories, I guess is the best way to put it. And then people got more engaged because it was following some kind of storyline. And then I got really kind of obsessed with making stories and making characters people can like mesh with, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah. I think that answered the question.
Oh yeah. I don't, and Derek, you can soundboard off of this too because I know you have experience with it. The things that I've always wanted to do, doing wrestling commentary or doing interviews or doing, like in the realm of content creation, making things. Like I've always had a love for game shows and I've wanted to do game shows, and I've always wanted to do television and movies and theater and things of that nature. I've wanted to do a wide spectrum of entertainment, but I live in Birmingham, Alabama, which is not the best place to get your name out there. So that streaming on Twitch or doing the internet thing of putting something out there has always been like the only option. It's either that or move to like Atlanta or Dallas or Los Angeles or New York City or Chicago. Like it's never, or heaven forbid I move to Nashville. But like yeah, and I'm sure Derek you can sound off on that as a musician as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like so there's like this weird glass ceiling here. You know what I mean? Where like no matter, because we don't have any actual infrastructure to like the industry at large, and so you just get stuck using the internet to get your shit out.
Yeah,
essentially.
Luckily, it's wide and is expansive. All right, Derek, do you have any questions that you want to push forward about Sade's backstory, or are we gonna dig into the meat and potatoes?
Dig into the Sade lore.
Well, I guess Lovelycraftians is like part of the back then lore, huh? Like, okay, so yeah, tell me about that.
About like
the
why
Lovelycraftians. Yeah,
like how it got started.
How it got started.
Oh man,
what I'm saying, everything.
All right, so it got started where like my friend Cassie, we both like were playing our own game for Call of Chtulhu with a friend group, and I also started to wanting to socialize more and not be just like working all the time. So we had like a comic. We went to like a Challengers Comics in Chicago. One of our friends, actually, Sam from the Lovelycraftians as well, works there. And she had set up like every month for a while like all women's like comic night, one night every month. So I would go whenever I was able to. If it fell on a day that just couldn't work out, whatever. And I guess like Cassie got inspired to want to like have an all femme cast for doing a Call of Cthulhu game, and she's been thinking about it for a while. And she asked me if I would be down, and I was like, I mean, yes, like that sounds like a lot of fun. Like I would love to do that. But it started off just like let's get it started. But also Cassie is very how do I put it? When she has the idea, like she kind of like starts setting things up and putting things in motion kind of thing. So she was just like, all right, I gotta make an LLC. I gotta get like equipment. I got and I was just like, oh, I mean, yes, you do, but it was just like fun and cute to see. Like she's like, oh, it's just be fun. But then she wanted it to be good. Like she wanted it to be good quality. And then like, and also learning about audio over time, like learned like, oh, better mics, all this other stuff. So then we started, we found, like I bought Ashley on, asked if she wanted to participate with me, but she's in New York. So like she was the only one that was in New York at the time, was in Chicago. And we had like another person also join, at the time, Amanda. And we had like a total of, it was like 5 people. And made characters, did our thing. We would have like, they had like our, like in her house she has like a speakeasy that she like renovated out, so like it was really cool. And then like having a gaming table, and then having like, so we would all actually go to her house, record all that stuff, have like binders that have soundproofing around it and all that other stuff.
Rad. And
it was really fun. I kind of miss Ambrosia a little bit, but like it was during a time when like I don't know how to put it, but like now my first professional TTRPG character that I made that people were actually listening to, I guess, and learning more as I like participate in other groups. Like, oh, like man, I can like make backs. I can actually do all this stuff and like get people engaged in different ways, which we learned over the course of 4 years, almost 4 years now. Yeah, so yeah. Good times.
Wild.
I did.
This is very important to note, bringing up the Lovelycraftians, but what makes Glenn Bishop so daddy?
You're gonna ask the question, I just didn't know how or when it was gonna pop up. Oh man, what made him daddy? Like there was a moment when it was dropped in conversation, and then people were like, "Daddy Glenn," that makes so much sense. I think like, when I made the character, we made our characters not together, and I was like, I really want to do a character that's not like my age. I want to do one that's older, and I wanted to do like a male character, like because and I still feel this way. I love like mystery, investigation, like gringy, like whether it's supernatural or like just like cop, like dark cop, like noir kind of things. Yeah. So I wanted to make a character like that, and I wanted to play a character like that. And then I made Glenn Bishop, and I absolutely adore him. And at a certain point, and then I found out that Ashley and Sam made characters that were like in their like mid to younger, early 20s. Yeah. And I was like, okay. Like I'm gonna be so I like my character's gonna like have a very like low threshold for these two, but let's see how this goes.
It's the natural progression of things. It makes sense. Yeah.
And I think Cassie was the first one to coin Daddy Glenn. I'm pretty certain it was either her or a fan like in our Discord server and mentioned it, and I was like, oh no. I am. Like I am. And then now like literally in like the intro like sequence that we have for episodes, it's like I wonder where Daddy Glenn is gonna go. I wonder what Daddy Glenn is doing. And I was like, god damn it. It sticks, but it's so good, it makes sense. And like when we have like our spoiler channel for people that are listening, they mention, they always put Daddy ahead of it, like and all this other stuff. I'm like, I'm glad that it caught on. That was not my intent, but I have no problem. So now I have a cap that Cassie sent to me. I forgot why. I think it was just like to make me feel better or something like that, or just like fun, like Daddy. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna wear that to cons now.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you. No one's ever gonna say
Why
nothing
wouldn't
about
you?
it. Why wouldn't you?
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
Fantastic. So we mentioned a little bit about, you starting to put your work on social media and things of that nature, and you mentioned Instagram and TikTok. Now, we clarified this at the start. We're not going to drop the @ or anything like that, but people watching this, they might know or they might remember. You still are to an extent, but you had a highly popular TikTok that was focused on drawing and art. Without getting into too many specifics, or because I know you're trying to separate yourself from that account, would you like to tell us about your experience with having a viral TikTok account? I guess is the best way to put it.
Sure. It's really hard to hear. Not hard, but like equating it, I guess, that like it is viral.
Yeah.
Because TikTokers think a little differently. So like when I tell like for instance my partner, they're like, yeah, you're viral, hun. Like that's what that means. So I'm like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
But so like going back to what I said before, I had just like started posting. I was a big fan of like anime. I am still a big fan of anime. So I started posting like relevant anime at the time that was like really popular. And then I like did fan work for it, fan art. And it turned into, then I started doing like storylines for each one. And what ended up happening was that like because people were engaged or like wanted to know more, or like leaving comments, like asking specific questions for clarification, and I was like, then it would be like a spark of inspiration on top of that. And on TikTok, you can reply to a comment and like do a video for it if you want to.
Yeah.
Or there's other ways to respond to like either comments or like respond to another person's video or whatever it might be. So I was like, oh, cool, that's a really good question. Let me do art for that, and then build the world out a little bit more. And I also wouldn't say I'm like separating it. I don't mind continuing it, but like what ended up happening, unfortunately, was it got very popular to a point where like anime fans got really upset. Some anime fans got so upset that I would get messages. Granted, like I only have it from mutual, like people only mutuals can send me messages. But I would get comments on videos during certain, I guess, times of the year if something like came out about that anime, where like I'm like, you're just like came back to my account, same person, like just like, man, you're still like I still hate this account. Like, and I was just like, damn, like I'm just minding my own business. I'm like, why are you here? But like I would get more love and a lot more support from people than anything else. So like the best way to put it was that like building a world out and like following the fan trend, I guess was the best way to put it, but naturally wanting to, not because I was trying to pander, but I was making like what ended up working the most was doing my own thing. And then people like the whole algorithm just suddenly like pushing your content out, and then you wake up with 99 plus notifications on a video and you're just like, that is not what I wanted. I mean, I appreciate it obviously, but I was like, I didn't want my phone to go off. And then it was great to see, and then people engaging and all of that stuff was really cool.
I think the most engaged with video that I've ever done on TikTok, it did not break 1,000. It broke like views. It did well view wise, but it did not break 1,000 likes. But it was a Stanley Kubrick stare one, and most of the comments were like, "You're too good at that." And it was just like you're just saying like, "You're too good at that. This is actually kind of creepy. I'm not following you because of this," stuff like that. And I was like, fantastic. Yeah. What about you, Derek? You got any viral posts on TikTok or anything?
Man, I think I got a video that probably got like 20 views or some shit.
Hey yo,
like,
yeah.
You know,
that's huge in Birmingham.
I know, right? I really don't use TikTok like that.
Yeah.
Because it's another social media.
Yeah.
For me to be like, all right, now I gotta do the thing to make the thing come out on here, 2 plus over here, plus over here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man.
Do you think
But
it?
people tell me, hey, do the TikTok. And I was like, all right.
Well, this is interesting because you do have somebody that has experience with the platform. And for those at home that don't know what TikTok is, it is a social media platform that utilizes videos that range from anything from as short as 15 seconds all the way up to I think 10 minutes now. You can do 10-minute videos.
You can do 10 minutes.
I think that's in
Crazy.
beta testing
shit.
right now. Is like
Okay,
beta.
that might
Is like
be why.
because I think they have it's like the longest is 6 minutes right now. I think
Last time I noted was 3 minutes,
3
but
minutes,
if it's like
yeah.
A/B testing or something like that, then some
Yep.
people might have access to it or not.
Yeah, it was started. It's supposed to be the spiritual successor to Vine, but the videos were longer than Vines, so people thought that it would never catch on. They thought it was something for just Gen Z, and now it is a wild storm of content, and I think has one of the best algorithms in like social media, like up to date, because it knows exactly what you want to see, and it does it.
That is true because I get nothing but producer videos.
Yeah, I get a lot of wrestling, and I get just from interacting with Derek a lot of production videos. I get some art stuff just because of interacting with you on the platform as well, Sade. I get like a good little mix of stuff. It's mostly wrestling and hardcore music and metal stuff, but I digress. But yeah, so we've got somebody here that has experience. So Derek, our friend Derek here, the Phasing Octopus, is a very like audio visual like combination kind of performer. Especially if any of you at home watch Derek streams, you will note that. There's a lot of stuff like that. Do you think that potentially Derek could see success that he has not hit the market yet here on TikTok? Do you think it would be much easier for Derek?
Yes.
Derek. Yes.
Sorry.
1,000 times yes.
Yes.
1,000 times. I think so too. I also think that it would be. I just think it'd be fun. Just isn't it fun? Just edit videos with your music on it and everything. Look at that. You already like doing that anyways, Derek.
I know, right?
You do. That's the thing is you do it anyways. Yeah. All right. Let's get some. If we raise $2 tonight, then Derek will start doing TikTok videos.
Yes, do it.
Perfect. All right. Which teen supernatural drama TV series protagonist is the most annoying?
Are you giving me options or like just off the top?
Off the top of your dome right now, yeah.
Sabrina.
Sabrina.
You know what? Yeah, like so that came from my subconscious. I was just like, why? I was just like, oh yeah, because I would say like this. I loved the series up to a certain point.
Yep.
And the reason why was for Sabrina. She just never learned for some reason. Like she just kept on kind of doing the same mistakes over and over again.
Yeah.
Like, and it was kind of at the point where I'm like, you should know better by now. Like, like you should know not to like take high risk, especially when other people are getting involved that you do care about.
But no.
And I understand the concept of wanting it all or nothing at all, but like it was like, but they could die.
Yeah.
So stop it.
It's wild because when I wrote that question, I was also thinking about who it would be for me. For me, it's Archie Andrews from Riverdale, and most people might say Riverdale's not a supernatural teen drama. So you introduced a cult of D&D players that have a gargoyle figurehead as their king. Was at one point Betty's brother, but wasn't actually Betty's brother. Was Betty's brother's lover. That was just posing as Betty's brother, but then somehow came back and was posing as his gargoyle king. It's wild. Chad Michael Murray is the head of a cult, and Chad Michael Murray, to get away from the FBI, runs to the top of a building and gets in a rocket, and it flies off. It's absolutely wild. That show is wild. Riverdale is great. Betty has the serial killer gene. That is correct. Like 43. Yeah. But no, Sabrina, tied to the Riverdale universe, and
there you go. See, there's a connection there.
But it's Sabrina. I definitely get that. I'm right there with you. I really liked that first season, and then things just started going downhill for me. There's still a lot of people in that show that I do like, though.
Yes.
Let's see. You got a question for us, Derek?
Yeah. Let's go back to TikTok. Let's roll back to TikTok.
Okay, let's go back to TikTok. Yeah.
All right, so you think it's a useful escape, or like just poison for your brain, or
But
are the people just poison?
all.
All of the above.
All of the
All
above.
the above.
Like, because I think TikTok can also like poison the creators a little bit as well. But like, it's like, I don't know, like with YouTube, for instance, if like a lot of creators, content creators, will say like, don't, at a certain point when they realize that they hit it, they'll tell you like, don't look at your comment section anymore. Just don't do it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand why they started like not like being more consumer at the time, but like kind of making my own content. Didn't understand what they were talking about until like you realize that like some people just like word vomiting in the comment section.
Yeah.
Or like they're young and they don't know what they're talking about. Like, you know, at a certain point I'm like, you're 12.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here. You know, at a certain point. But and they don't know what's going on, or they might feel differently obviously in like a year or two, maybe, who knows. But also it does make content creators a little toxic as well, because they can respond to create like to comments, and they can send their entire like following on someone, not realizing how bad it could get. So that's another thing that some people might not realize, but sometimes you feel like they deserve it depending on what they said. So like it's just like, damn, like you didn't think that they were gonna see that. But yeah, what?
It's kind of sick having an army though.
It is kind of sick having an army, but it goes to your head real quick.
I've seen, because I like to, I watch a lot of video essays, and I like, there's a video essayist that talks about TikTok drama and talks about like specific creators that like get like involved with like, you know, sicking fan bases on people that have, you know, they viewed have done wrong in the community and things of that nature, and like bickerings and arguments, and like influencer houses or content houses or content camps where people or creators are getting together and making TikToks all together. And you know, it's wild. It is wild because
it's
like
very wild.
Because like from hair trigger response to that, of like seeing somebody, well, it's like, yes, I can reply to your comment with a video, and I can also weaponize my whole fan base to go after against you, this anonymous person on the internet. I was like, there's definitely a power imbalance in that. I was like, there's a definite power imbalance in that. But coming from a content creator perspective, it seems like a safer kind of platform than like Twitch even.
Yes, I would admit that. Some people can like it is safer even like when you send someone out to someone.
Yeah.
Because they can just like delete their account, make a new account, and then like not do that again kind of situation.
Yeah.
And some people do like go crazy and they do want to find out exactly who that is, I guess. But like it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I don't like, I've heard about Twitch, like I'm learning more about Twitch, but I've like it's nowhere near, in my opinion. I don't think I've ever successfully like maybe one time. I've successfully one time sent out my fan base one time, and I don't want to ever do it again, but it was more just because I forgot what that person said. Like at a certain point, like they said something that was kind of problematic about what I was making, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like this is the most like they were and like, I guess trigger warning on this one, representing like gay relationships. A lot of people automatically assume that like pedophilia is involved in some capacity. Even though I personally do not draw anything beyond PG or PG-13. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Some people on TikTok are very comfortable doing that, or at least putting a warning at the very least before they show it. I don't like doing that. And it was literally the fluffiest, sweetest thing in the world, but they said something that was crossing a line, in my opinion. And then I decided to like school them on that one, but in like my motherly Sade voice, not like so just like, you should know what you're talking about first before you come for people, not like, oh, get fucked, you know, I was just like, I have a choice there. I'm like, okay, maybe you don't know what you're talking about, so I'm gonna like put you on blast here. They didn't learn better. I think they still kept their comment up, but several people like, and I ended up blocking them. But several people like tried to school them for me,
Mhm.
and it still didn't work. So I was just like, it's fine. Like, and I still get notifications every so often about people commenting on that video from a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
trying to school this child
Yeah.
from a year and a half ago. And I'm just like, it's fine. We're done. Like, so, and another thing that also pops up on TikTok and probably beyond TikTok, like, why don't you, like, people are like, why don't you just block them? Just block them and never see them again. I'm like, because I will do that, but it's not just one.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's blocks for days. I have
Blocks,
a
yeah.
long list of blocking, and it gets really exhausting. So I understand
Yeah.
why people would or would not
I looked at
decide to fight back or not.
mine on Twitter recently, and it was like, I was like, I forgot. There's just a point where you just like do it, and you're just like, I forgot. There's so many fucking people that I don't get it. I don't get it. Well,
Like I said, the block button is self-love.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, please
Yeah.
do it as often as possible.
As
You know what I'm
often
saying?
as possible. Yeah. Don't. No need to cultivate discourse on the internet. There's already enough of it without you having to add to it. Is how I've been trying to go this year. And you know, I've been doing all right with it. I could do better. Moving on from TikTok, let's talk about TTRPGs.
Sweet.
So what was your first experience with TTRPGs? Was it Call of Cthulhu with Cassie and them?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. How's it progressed to now where you are, and if I do say so myself, one of the I would say a highly sought after indie TTRPG streamer.
Me?
Yes, yeah, you. Yeah, you.
I would say that like it started off, I don't know, like now like I started GMing like privately like with friends and stuff like that just to see what it like, just to first of all understand what it's like. Seeing someone starting for the first time never role playing ever, like they were just like, oh, I'm making a character, and like realizing what they can do and what they were able to do. I'm remembering what it was like to be that, making a character and not knowing how to exactly role play. What does that mean? What do I do? Kind of thing. And then like getting better and better, and then having Cassie like, hey, I really want you on like in this podcast because I think you know how to fill in the void of conversation, I guess, or like you take what I tell you and you run with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like I would love to do that. I love the stories that like GMs make, and then how players like fill in the gaps and then like work with each other. And I would say that that was my experience for a very long time because I didn't know where to go from there, and I was a very busy person in terms of work. At the very least, I was traveling for work. I didn't have time outside of like it was one of those things where I would travel Monday through Thursday evening, Friday, and then weekend was to myself, and then kept on doing that kind of thing. So a consultant. And when I had a recording, I would do it on Friday or Saturday. And then when I became more free, I was like, okay, I wanted to do more. And then it became more about storytelling. Let's dig deep into character backstory. Let's bring out that character that you kind of mentioned at Session Zero that one time that like, you know, again, we all learned together to tell a story that wasn't just about fighting cultists, as well as eldritch beings that you probably can never kill. And then I would say like my next experience, actually, you reached out to me, Wes, for Comfort County High, and I was excited because I was like, oh, I've never heard of Monster Hearts. What's this? And and then I looked it up, and I was just like, oh, that sounds like fun. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and then playing with role players that had experience with, like, you have experience with improv and stuff like that, and then seeing you, I was inspired by you heavily, actually, to be honest. Like you and like you and Natalie and Stephanie all together, because you all had your own type of your own type of role playing, and y'all did it very well. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? And it was just like, so like I think Natalie describes you as like chewing the scene and like using props and all this other stuff, and then like pulling things out, and like then Natalie saying like, oh, it's not canon until you say it. And I was just like, so I could just just say stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like realizing that I could add on to that arsenal. So I was heavily inspired by y'all, to be honest. And then Cassie noticed as well when we went in, and then like we started doing doing sessions where we like sit and like discuss what to do next. And it was also, there's a lot of information for mysteries like that we have left over, so we have to talk through them.
Yeah.
But we all decided together, like, actually, like, and Cassie was inspired by Haunting on Hill House, The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
I always like mix it up with the movie and like the TV show, but she was inspired by the TV show and Bly Manor, and she wanted it to have that level of like creep factor, but also like emotional damage and like all this other stuff. And that's what she was like, I'm inspired by that and I want to dig into it. And I'm like, let's do it. Like, I just pitch it my way. And I learned from all the other groups that I've played with, to be honest, to like be a better role player. Like, so thank you. I didn't say that before, but thank you very much.
Oh, no, you're welcome. Yeah, no, that's, I mean, we talked about it last episode with Brandon, with Derrick and stuff. It's honestly the best thing that could possibly happen out of my time, like doing the streaming stuff and everything like that, is even if like it never picks up and it never like picks up and it never becomes successful or anything like that, at least I have been able to share experiences and have a hand in people's first time experiences with something that I love and care about. That's a treasure in of itself. Yeah. Okay. Well, what are some TTRPGs that you want to play or get into this year? You know, we're in spring. You know, we've got the full year of 2022 ahead of us. What are some that stick out to you that you have yet to play?
I have yet to play Alien.
Alien.
And I have yet to play, there was like one other one. It was also like, I've already played Locust, but I would love to play Locust again. I feel like there's another horror game that might be similar to Alien that's coming out. I don't remember. I feel bad. But I would like to play Alien, to be honest. Oh, and like, what was that other one? It was like a teenage gumshoe TTRPG.
Oh yeah, Bubblegum Shoe.
Yeah, I really wanted to play that one as well because it sounded like a lot of fun. And Thirsty Lesbian Sword.
Thirsty Sword Lesbians, yes.
Thirsty Sword Lesbian. That sounded like a lot of fun, and I did like the Ukraine itch patch, which has it in there. So I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I do want to play that. So yeah, those are off the top of my head. But if anyone has any other recommendations, like, bring me the horror goodness, because that's where I would love to. I would say, like, as like with the Lovelies, like, we are, like, because we've known each other for a while, like, we can dig into that and all that stuff. But I want to be able to do that in other areas as well, and just dig into like the horror of the scene, and all this other stuff, and like have like there's ever so often humor because we, like, people mesh well with each other for players, but like I want to like just dig into like those horror scenes and you just bring it to life a little bit. I would love that. Like, so any game that can possibly do that. And Cult is another one. Cult, definitely, because I've heard about it. I heard that it's potentially intense, but but it sounded like a lot of fun. And Delta Green was another one.
Delta Green, Modern Call of Cthulhu. All there. Yeah.
Perfect. So all those are on my list. In my opinion.
Wally, did you get those? Did you write those down?
I can also resend them to you if you want me to just like write them.
That's good to know. That's just good to know.
Okay.
Let's see. What do you got for us, Derrick?
All right. So, what would be your favorite place to hunt as a ghost?
What would be my favorite place to haunt as a ghost, or hunt as
hunt?
Oh my god!
Spookify that joint, you know.
That is a good question. Sorry. Madison Square Garden.
Yo, an MSG ghost?
That's pretty dope.
Imagine doing the show. Imagine doing the show and the ghost of Sade shows up.
Yeah, it's just like, so.
I just like that came completely out of nowhere. That was like blindsided answer.
That question was like out of left field. It was just like it has to be somewhere unexpected, and like when people are like trying to have a good time, like so it's just like
imagine WrestleMania at MSG.
And Sade's there as a ghost. Somebody's getting ready to fly
Special
down from
guest
the
referee.
rafters. Special ghost referee.
Who's rooting for? And then like turn around, I'm not there. Like who just talked? And like don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Amazing. Okay, so what do you think of the current state of the art industry, and what do you think can be done to make it more open and viewed as legitimate skilled labor to common masses?
These questions, Wes. How do I feel about the art industry? Right now, I would say, because it's always been the same thing whenever I've been in the art scene. There's always issues having to do with people stealing art from each other, fan art versus original art. There's always a struggle. Like there was one time I went to like a convention and someone literally to my face, being like someone that does original work as well as fan art, just said that like all the fan art, because when you go to like the artist alley, it's usually like a big group of like fan artists that also do original work too.
Yeah.
But that's what sells the most. And they literally said like, you know, like just like call them trash and like that, like they were taking away from other like original artists. And like during the time I was like, but like they're still artists and they do really great work.
Yeah.
Like so like saying something like that is kind of dick, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's still happening today. So like stuff like that, as well as like I would also say now, because we're all entering a digital age. Well, we already did, but like more so now. People make brushes that like help reduce the labor of certain things. So like making hair brushes, making like brushes for like monotonous things such as like a stack of books, chains, something like that. And saying that that's lazy or like or whatever it might be, but I'm like, yeah, but they made the brush. Like they literally made the book and then made it into a brush. So it's literally thinking smarter, not harder. And then like they can focus on the focal scene.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more innovative than it is lazy. Yeah.
But some people see it a certain way. So like I would say like on not TikTok, on Twitter. No, I don't really notice it on TikTok though. But like on Twitter or like Instagram, I would say like there's a lot of having to do with art theft, which can also be said for like NFT artists as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Where someone would post art and then someone would turn it into an NFT and then like they wouldn't know about it, kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those are the problems I would say in art. Like, can you re-ask the second half of that question?
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, what do you think can be done to make it more open and viewed as a legitimate skilled labor to the common masses?
Be a bit more empathetic, like about it. Like, stop making it like polarized. Like, I don't know. Like, it's always like one or the other, and I'm kind of getting over it, like traditional versus digital versus. And I'm like, no, like they're all legit. Like any artist worth their weight will tell you that like. If they put the effort in, they are an artist.
Yeah.
Like a traditional artist. I love seeing traditional artists work. I don't get it. Like, I mean, like I used to be, but like, it's just like, I can't think that way anymore because I'm now fully digital.
Yeah.
Being able to like make something and not fuck it up once. Or like if they do, they're able to like make it not look like a fuck up.
Yeah.
Good for you. That is a skill. I can't do that anymore, unfortunately. Like that's retraining and that's fine.
Yeah.
But they can't do digital and it's a skill set. So being more inclusive is just being more open to understanding there's just different types of art out there. There's different types of ways to show art, and some people, this is what they do to get things out in the end of the day, whether it's like a personal story or just to practice their craft or whatever it might be. And in terms of what is it like? Besides being inclusive, what was the last thing you said?
Just to help the common people, common masses, civilians, people that are not artists.
Those
kind
people
of understand that it is more than just a hobby. It is a legitimate, like, skilled labor that has like a use.
That
of, like,
one
the
I have no
workforce.
idea how to solve. I'm gonna be really honest because some people ever so often I'm just like thinking like ask people to do stuff for free.
Yeah.
I like it like, oh, you're having fun, so do it for free. And I'm like, no. Like
Mhm.
no one's asked me that in a very long time.
Yeah.
But like some people they still do that. And it is a craft. It is something it's the same concept of like people that do animation or like when someone looks at animation, they assume that it's only for kids
Yeah.
but adults make it. So like it's just kind of like yeah, but literal people like anywhere from like 20 plus like they're the people that make the animation. Of course they want to make their own stories with it too. It's
Yeah.
possible. Being a bit more inclusive understanding of that and realizing that it takes time and the fact that like some artists have to break down like granted like you should anyway like in your pricing chart but
Yeah.
like break down why
Yeah.
like it costs money, not like feelings, I guess. Like I don't
Yeah.
know what they think we're gonna use with feelings. I don't
Yeah.
like I don't
Yeah.
need yours. I have my own. But like no, like it's skill, it hurts my hand. Like I
Yeah.
have to think about what to draw for you. Like and depending on how detailed of information. So like it's just any skilled labor that isn't specific to like something that monotonous. Understand that like it takes time. So like don't be like TLDR. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Just don't be a dick.
Don't be a host at the Oscars and talk about how, adults have to endure through animated movies while they're made for just kids.
Man, that's
For where you gonna get slapped and it's gonna be heard around the world.
Yeah. Exactly. Look, I just think that more people should have gotten slapped during that Oscars. That's just me. I don't think it should have just been one person there. Perfect. Do you have something to add on to that there, Derek? That whole line of
Yes.
questioning?
So, like, say somebody wanted to get into it, in the art as a profession. Any advice, any words that you would have for them?
If anyone wanted to get into art, I don't want to do something that people normally always say, I guess, but it is like usually like one to get started because a lot of people feel, and this is also can go for being a content creator as well. Like get started. You won't know what you're capable of unless you try. And don't think that. And a lot what I always end up hearing is that like I can't even draw a stick figure right. And look at you go, like you have such innate talent. And I'm like, I've been drawing since I was 5.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I know how to draw, but like I still have a lot to learn even now. So like even just getting started, and maybe you don't know how to start. But there's YouTube, there's other artists on TikTok, and you can digest, like in my opinion, you can digest things a lot faster on TikTok, to be honest, if you want to like learn really quickly about where to get started.
Yeah.
But like just getting started and reaching out as well. Start traditional if you don't have obviously enough money to like get like a tablet or something like that. I started with a Wacom tablet. Like start small, sketch often, follow your ideas that you want to draw. Yes. Yes. And keep it going. Like, and if you don't know where to start, like always ask. I'm gonna like put that out now. You can ask me, anyone out there. You can ask me where to get started. Like I'll have a more detailed plan for you to get started. But like for instance, TikTok, I jumped from just doing really shitty animatics to doing animation, even though they're not the best. But like that's because I tried. Like I really like I was like I'm just gonna try and see if I can. And then it sucked a few times, and then I tried again. Don't be put down by it seemingly failing. Just keep doing it. If you really want it, because just because you didn't get it the first time, nothing comes easy like that. So yes, like when things do, it's great, but like it's not always that way. It's gonna take time.
And look at you now. You're now doing badass animatics on your new TikTok about Iris, which are
Yeah.
dope. They're dope. I love that idea of how you've kind of push forward of being like, I want to talk more about this character. I want to showcase more of this character and her backstory and everything like that in a series that you can't get through everything like that. So I'm going to use my talent and I'm going to make some stuff. And I will say, people are pretty responded to it. A lot of views, a lot of likes, a lot of engagement on how does that feel that somebody that you created, an OC, for those that are not aware in like art and fan arts and stuff and just general online speak, OCs are original characters. They're characters that you come up with and you work with them, you do a bunch of stuff. But like, how is it to see people respond so positively to somebody that you created and then you put it into like multiple series and then essentially thought, well, I might never get to see Iris again, and then you brought new life. How cool is that? Like, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel pretty good. Like, I wasn't sure if it was the same vibe, right? Where it's like, I'm not sure if people are gonna vibe with her or not. But I never animated her. I never like drew her besides like I never really drew her besides like the character art for like the slides and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, and she's hard to draw, first of all. Like, why did I do that to myself?
I need you all to go to the TikTok right now. It's all capital SASE, correct? Is that it?
Yes. Wait. Crap, what did I call myself?
There might be a dash.
It's SS Ambrose, so at SS
Okay.
Ambrose.
At
but
SS
the
Ambrose,
actual like title is SAS.
Okay, perfect. But if you go there, you'll see the character design for Iris Blackwood it's a lot of hair. It's a lot of hair. There's a lot of details, tattoos. There's like jewelry within the hair. There's jewelry on the face, on the hands, corsets, boots, things of that nature. It was like, I was like, that's like, and me over here being like, look, I'm playing a big boy that wears denim and t-shirts and like this is my 6'3" himbo of a devil. And then Sade comes in, then just like, here's this extravagance, all this things like that. And it's like, cool. All right, great, fantastic. No,
super hard to draw. I don't know why I did that to myself. Like, it's like that's hard to animate too. If like you wanted to do a more detailed animation, like full body animation, like I don't know how. Like usually they tend to people that do animation for full body, they do a little bit more like. They don't like they simplify it a little bit more down. I don't know how people animate people with tattoos. I really don't. But they do. So I decided to do 2 sleeve tattoos with hand tattoos and large big hair. Like so I was just like, shit.
You got the Super Saiyan 3 problem.
Like I did this to me. Here we go. And I just wanted to like first start with like character introductions, and then I just decided to do like things that were fun. And they got like a little over 1,000 views. But then like, and like this is a tip, I guess, for content creators that want to do story-driven things, or things that we want to connect a story with. The ones that are the most popular are the ones that tell a story, whether it's a short story or a long one. So, for instance, I think one of the most popular ones is like. Iris talking to Saint, Saint being like the monster hunter from the second part of Snowfall.
Yeah.
Talking about the devil and that the devil is real. That one is the most. I think it's the most popular if I remember correctly.
It's a pretty popular one. Yeah.
And I was a little surprised by that one because like it does tell a small story because it's not that long, but it was like saying essentially like. Sound a lot more personal than it is, and I'm curious why. It's like don't worry about it, don't even trip, is essentially what Iris says in response, and that's it. Like it wasn't that long, but people are like eating it up, and like it was like they wanted to know more, or some people asked questions on other ones that could have led to more. Another one is talking about name taking and using an audio clip from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Got it. Yeah.
I think that's where the audio came from. And he was talking to Gwen about oh, I know your name. I just want to see if you know your name.
Yeah.
And that felt very fey, out of context. So I was just like, let me like reimagine it so people don't even know where it came from. So like to a point where like they're like, where's that from? Don't even worry about it. And people commented that like you reused the audio in a way they did not expect. And that was also what brought people in. So it was a story that pulled people in where they wanted to know more, even if they did not know who the characters were.
Yeah.
And I have plans for like 2 responses that people commented on where like what happens if they don't get their name back. One was one question.
Yeah.
And another one was like what if someone responds back like, oh, but you can call me X if she asks for their name. And those are 2 people that asked, and I was like, those are really good responses. I'm gonna have those ready for later, you know. But that is the end that I need to keep the thread going, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So if you can get that thread or that engagement in the comments where they're like, I want to know more. What if X? Like, then that tends to be my way in to see if I can get more engagement.
Yeah.
I found out what the algorithm is all about, guys.
Nailed it.
That's TikTok.
Cracked the code. Fantastic. Well, we are getting close to the end of our time here, but I always have, before we get to our rapid fire round, that we have where it's going to be you just answering questions what comes off the top of your dome. We have a question that we ask all of our guests at the very end of these interviews here on Late Night Comfort, and it's, Sade, what things do you want to come from your time here on Earth?
I know you're going to ask me that question, and for the life of me, I always forget. What do I want to make of my time here on Earth? I want people. I have like 2 things come to mind, I guess, if that's okay.
That's
so
fine.
One of them, one thing is that I want to make people feel or tap into emotions that they didn't want to address.
Yeah.
With creativity. So like it's kind of the same concept of, Disney tends to like make people cry when they didn't want to, right? And when I was able to do that, even for a short bit in my previous TikTok experiences, and it was like seeing the sausage being made. I made the sausage, but people watching it didn't know what the process was. And reacting to some of the deeper stories that like was meant to be a tearjerker and actually achieving that, and them messaging me later that like it meant the world to them, made me feel great. So making content that makes people dig into those emotions they were kind of burying, if that makes any sense, I guess.
Definitely.
And another part that I would like to make of my time on Earth, I guess, would be to, I know this is gonna sound like generic as shit, but like make them like not hide anymore, I guess, if that makes any sense. Like live it to the fullest, because like I repressed a lot for a very long time until recently, and I want to be that person that makes people feel that they can do the same. Fantastic. Chase the things that they didn't think they could, to be honest.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Well, Sade, we've had a pretty decent hour here of questions and getting to know you, getting to know the real you. And so we have a rapid fire round, some questions that we have at the end. And then once we get done with that, I want you to go ahead and tell the good people where they can find you, what you have coming up here in the future. And then we're going to go ahead and sign off and maybe, have a great rest of our evening, whether it's watching WrestleMania or doing what have you here. So, Derrick, you mind kicking us off with our rapid fire round here?
All right. So, what social stigma does society need to get over?
Social stigma?
Yeah.
Racism.
Favorite My Hero Academia character?
Deku. No, Shinzo.
Most attractive Destiny NPC.
Most attractive?
Yeah.
Amanda Holiday.
All right.
She slept
Digital
on.
or analog art?
Sorry, say it again.
Oh no, digital or analog art?
Digital.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever broken?
What's the most expensive thing I've ever broken?
Mm-hmm.
A couch.
One food you'll never eat again.
Okra.
Damn. All right.
I hate it.
Favorite music artist right now?
Doja Cat.
Dope. All right.
Yep.
So I don't know if I can agree with you on the okra thing, but I can definitely agree with you on the Doja Cat thing. Absolutely. We love our
Someone like cooked it really bad and it was just extra slimy. If someone can make it a certain way, I am okay with retrying it. But every time I've had it,
Bet. All right, challenge accepted. Challenge accepted. All right, well, thank you, Sade, so much for speaking with us and for spending time with us. And thank you at home for watching Late Night Comfort. And if you're watching this in the future, thank you so much. Consider coming and watching us live every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern here. Sade, where can the people find you and what do you have coming up here soon?
Hello, everyone. I am Sade Smith-Edwards. I play Glenn Bishop, Daddy, on the Lovelycraftians podcast. You can find me on Twitter at Sade Amby Edwards. You can also, if you go to Twitter, you can also see my card there. If you want to see all the other links on the night, you can also get my TikTok link, which is SS Ambrose, which I think I commented earlier. If you want to see Iris stuff. What am I up to? I will be, I think none of them I could talk about, unfortunately, until but the next, I think next episode for Lovecraftians, look, it just came out this past Tuesday, if I remember correctly, which is getting really intense. And then the next following one is the following Tuesday. So not this coming Tuesday, the Tuesday following. And I am going to be in a couple of things and I will love to announce them. I know I'm going to be in Fables because that's been announced. I'm really excited about that one. But until, and you can also find me at PAX East. I will be on the safety tools panel with Gehenna Gaming. So that's really exciting there as well. I would love to talk to you about the other things until they actually get announced by the respective places where they're being housed. I cannot say them, but I am in a lot of things that I'm excited about.
We stand an NDA queen. Speaking of NDAs, my name is Wes Franks. I'm the founder and creative director of Carrion Cover Studios. You can find me at Thirst Trap Moth on Twitter. It's right there in the corner of the box that my head is in right now. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter. I will see y'all tomorrow for 3 p.m. Eastern for Carrion Comfort News, where we have a lot of news that's going to be happening. A lot has happened in the past week. On top of that, we have a very special game. As you know, at the end of Carrion Comfort News, we always play a game, whether it be brackets or smash or pass. And for this week, we are going to be doing a tier list of which Disney princes I could take on in a fight.
Oh, shit.
And it's going to be ranging from could absolutely fold them like a chair to they're actually going to wreck me, maybe even kill me to this point. So be able to stay tuned for that. We've got Comfort Sickle. We've got Good Game Well Played. We've got more Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast and Kingdom Hearts Interstitial War coming up this week. Derek, what do you have going on? Where can the people find you?
Let's see. You can find me at Phasing Octopus on Twitter, The Phasing Octopus everywhere else. I don't remember my TikTok name, so we'll figure that out later. I have a show at The Wood. If you're in the Birmingham area, next Sunday, the 10th, at The Wood, I will be performing at the benefit show for Griff. What else I got going on? On Twitch, more Elden Ring. We got a real fun build going on, but I'm finna switch that all around. What else? Some music will come out this week because Akil Pratt dropped a new sample pack, so I'm finna tear through that.
Hey. There you go. Get to some stems.
Yeah.
You also have your show on the 22nd, right? You got a show on the 22nd?
Yes. Yeah. We'll talk more about that later.
Tight. Perfect. Yeah, we'll get that next week. Excellent. Go follow Sade. Go follow Derek. Go follow me. We will see y'all next week for Late Night Comfort. We have a very special guest joining us. They're all very special guests. But on April 9th, 9 p.m. Eastern, we have streamer and charity coordinator Rachel, last name redacted, Miss Petty Dreadful from Table Goth, joining us here in the hot seat. So we're going to get to know a little bit more about Rachel, one of the Thonic kids. And then afterwards, we're going to have more guests, more Thonic kids, more dope people doing dope shit on the internet. If you would like to be interviewed, or you know somebody that we would like to interview for you, if you have any suggestions, then please send them our way. If you want to see people that we want to have conversations like this, come ahead and let us know. And I have no shame with getting in people's DMs to see if they want to be interviewed. The worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to say no and block me. So, you know. It's no problem whatsoever. But that is all for us tonight. I hope you have a very, very, very lovely rest of your weekend. Shout out to our sponsors, Callow, Dice Envy, 1985 Games. Shout out to the Comfort Club, our Patreon. Shout out to those over on our Discord. Shout out to the YouTube. Go ahead and do some, go subscribe to us on the YouTube. We are going to be raiding into Rolling D's 20s. Rolling D's 20s has their, they have got their Vampire the Masquerade game going on. So we are going to go ahead and say what's up to them. Go ahead and let them know who sent you. And that is going to be it for us. But do not forget that comfort comes soon. Arrivederci. Ciao. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.